Some of you guys been asking about General Lee's diecast ones, 1 of 18 scale. Which ones are the best? Which ones are the most accurate? The differences between all of them. Where can you find them since they're not sold in stores? What are the prices of some of them? I guess I'll get punched out at work here and we'll go over everything with you. I didn't mean literally. So for a while ago, I told you guys I was going to do a video on these beauties behind me. Diecast General Lee's, the good ones, the pricey ones, the not so good ones. Basically everything I know about them. This is a disclaimer. I'm not an expert. I don't claim to be an expert. I don't know every single casting that comes out. I don't know every variation that comes out. I'm a hell of a bargain hunter, like a way above average bargain hunter. I know prices that you can get on certain things if you wait without pulling the trigger. And I'm going to help you out with some of that stuff, what you should be paying for this stuff. And depending on what you're looking for, let's say you're into vintage stuff, I'll show you what you want to look for in vintage. If you're after, you want the best, most screen accurate one going, I'll show you what that is too. If you want rare chases, we're going to go over those as well. But it was just a disclaimer, guys. I am not an expert. I'm just an experienced collector. Have a bunch of Duke stuff, and again, hell of a bargain hunter. Even going to go over some of the more expensive rare stuff. Tell you the differences between all this stuff, what to look for when you're buying it, stuff like that. Oh, that's gorgeous. Wow. Okay guys, so I said a while ago I was going to do an episode talking about General Lee, some diecast. I'm not going to do the little guys. Maybe that'll be another episode. I do 1/64 scale and stuff. This is going to be the bigger ones over the years, and I'm going to show how they've changed, and I'm going to talk about values of them and talk about what you should be paying for them, because you might be surprised how cheap you can get some of them for. You might be surprised how cheap you can get the best one for, but we're going to go over that. I'm going to go over chases with you. We have the Ontario Diecast Addict show Sunday, ODA show. So I'm going to, obviously we're going, right? We're going to go to that. We're going to do an unboxing Sunday as well, because Sunday I finally pick up my Ertl striped tomato. Starsky and Hutch 1/18 scale. I went with the Ertl because it's got the little CB inside and it's got all the details that I like, and plus I love Ertl. So that's what I went with for that. I cannot wait to unbox that. And I also pick up my deal of the week besides the other cabinet I got. I got a mint 1 of 18 scale Godfather car, $80, mint, sealed. And I got Scarface for $100. And all that's wrong with it, it's sealed, never been out of the box. The only thing wrong with it is the plastic is a little bit wavy at the top, but it's for my friend G, and he's planning to crack it, so it's perfect. He asked me for one. He told me he didn't know about them. He asked if I could see any other ones, gave me his budget, and I thought it would be a while before I found it within his budget, but wow, boom, within a month. I surprised myself. But yeah, we got all kinds of General Lees in the house here, so I figure why not go over it today? It's something to do, and it's a chance to have a look myself, see what else kicking around here, because I got to dig a lot of them out that we probably forgot were even here. You guys will notice my nifty Hazard County stunt team shirt. It's like brand new. I got it in like 2015 something, but I only wear it to like Comic-Con, like when I went to meet Bo and Luke Duke, I wore it, stuff like that, right? Other than that, it sits in the closet. Actually, check this out. I'll bring you guys a little blast from the past here. That's where I got the shirt, the General Lee shirt, 2015. Look a little bit younger, a little bit less gray. Sitting in the General Lee, that was awesome. Yeah, that's at Mopar Fest in New Hamburg, if anybody's wondering. It's a huge Mopar festival every year that they have. And that's where I got this shirt I'm wearing. And I actually bought it from Tom Sarmento, who was one of the mechanics who worked on the General Lee on the show. It was actually awesome that day. Had a lot of fun. And don't forget, I wore it when I met Bo Duke at Hamilton Comic Con when I was much younger. So as you see, the shirt's got some history. I got to take care of it. So we're going to start way back in the beginning. Now, I'm fairly new to the Diecast crowd, about 3-4 years. Very new to the 118 crowd, about a year, maybe less. But I am old school when it comes to the Ertl, Dukes of Hazzard, all the toy stuff. This was the stuff I played with as a kid. So over the years, I would like to look it up, stuff like that. I'm going to start right from the beginning. This is what started it. For me anyway, and for a lot of diecasts. Now you're going to notice it's got no 01. I'm going to explain that in a minute. But this is the OG right here. The Ertl, Dukes of Hazzard, General Lee. Now this is in 1 of 25 scale. Somebody commented on my video, can you please hold the item still so we could see it? So I'm holding it still for that person. It says on the back, recreate the adventures of the Dukes of Hazzard with your very own replica of the General Lee car. See guys, these are toy grade. These were meant to be played with. It's the same as some of the A-Team stuff that Glenn has that I sold him from my collection and that he has. Like he has the 1 of 18 scale Ertl 18 van. It's not detailed at all. It's a toy. It's got a sliding door. It's very cool, but it's a toy. It's vintage. It was meant to be played with. Not meant to be sat on the shelf, and neither is this. New from Ertl, your very own die-cast metal replica from the famous TV series The Dukes of Hazzard. Go with Bo and Luke Duke as they chase through the hills of Hazzard County in the General Lee car. Sturdy in its design, this 1 of 25 scale die-cast metal replica features an opening hood, detailed interior, detailed engine and chassis, and carries the authentic General Lee car decals. And it was made in Hong Kong for the Ertl Company, Dyersville, Iowa. Now let's see what the year is on this. Ooh. Now, I did not have one of these in my collection, guys. The vintage one like this. Well, I had a vintage one that was in very good condition. I did not have one in the box. It was on my list. Who knows? Maybe because they're bigger cars, I'll get a vintage one. If I ever see a vintage one like this for the right price, I'm pulling the trigger. Tell you that much. I'm trying to get... Actually, I'll show you guys the back of the box as well. See, they did reissue stuff in around 1998. They made the boxing look very similar to the vintage stuff, but I'm going to tell you how to tell the difference between the vintage one and the 98 reissue one in just a minute here. But I am looking for the date. You can see even on the bottom of the box, it was showing what Ertl had coming down the pipe, and they had some pretty good stuff. That's a Chev stepside there. Smokey and the Bandit 2 Turbo. In fact, I have that car, had it. I sold it to my friend Glenn here, and it's downstairs in his cabinet. So did you hear that, Glenn? That little Smokey car is from this exact lineup.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't positive of that, but it is. Of course, the General Lee car, Darrell Waltrip, Chevy Superstock race car, Ford 1913 Model T delivery, Richard Petty car. I am looking for a year. Oh, here we go. Right on the front. Usually it's not on the front, but this is vintage stuff. 1981. You can see there. Now you will notice this has no number. Got no number on the reverse side either. That was something that we were wondering, but it's got no number on the reverse side either. No numbers on the doors. This is not a fluke, guys. It is not a custom. This is an early error of this car. Glenn didn't pay enough for it, in my opinion, because it's a vintage car. It's still in original packaging. It's an error. Yeah, like he paid less than what he should have paid for a vintage one in this shape. Like the person that sold it to him, I guess wasn't positive of what they had, maybe, because I'd have paid more than what he paid for that. I remember, in fact, if he didn't grab it that day, I would have grabbed it. Okay, so this came out in 1998, done by Ertl. Now, Racing Champions took over or got involved a little bit later, but I'm going to show you that version too. Now this, if you notice, very, very similar boxing to this. Okay? A lot of people will say, you might see on eBay, vintage General Lee car, Ertl. I guess by now, 1998, it might be vintage. Yeah, it's vintage, 25 years old, so technically it is vintage. But it's not OG vintage, okay? So this is from 1998. This is beautiful condition, like the plastic, everything. Like if I was gonna own one of these, this is the shape I would want it. You still see the ribs on the box. I'll show you guys the backs of the boxes. I think the backs, like I think they both say the same thing, but I will see. But just very similar. But I'm going to tell you guys obvious ways to find out if you got a reissue or the original. Recreate the action and excitement of the Dukes of Hazzard TV series with this authentic die-cast medical replica of the famous General Lee. Holding it still. Trying to... Oh, there's the flag, which... by the way, guys, my opinion, this has nothing to do with racism on this show. When I was a kid, well, there's nothing racist in me now, but when I was a kid, there was nothing racist in me. That was a very wholesome show to watch, and I watched it with my family. The Duke boys were not racist. I'm going to say that again and again and again. Okay, so another obvious way to tell the difference, okay? So this box has a flap. The vintage box here has the flap on the back. This doesn't. It's got the more modern style box. Now the castings are very similar. In fact, if we peeled the sealed one out and started comparing it with this one, I don't think you'd see a difference, but I will tell you one difference you will see. Another way to tell the difference if somebody's saying, oh, I'll sell you the OG one, and they're joshing you. The 1998 reissue and the 1981 OG, look at the word General Lee. I know the font's a tiny bit different, but look at the color. Now this one's a little bit faded because it's from 1981. But the vintage one, the word General Lee will always be blue. Always. The 98 reissue, it's black. And I say always unless there's some sort of error or something like that with them. Ask me which one I want, I'm picking the OG 10 times out of 10. If Glenn were to say, Neil, pick one of those, I'm giving you one of them, that's the one I'm picking. Now these ones here, you could typically get them. This shape here, I'm not paying over $100 for it because I see them in this shape here for about $100. Seen one for 70 yesterday, but it got snapped up pretty quick. So 100 would be the tops I would pay, but it would have to be in this kind of shape here. Never go on eBay looking for, everybody thinks eBay's the Bible, guys, for pricing and stuff. It's really not. If you go on eBay, you're going to pay more for what you're looking for. Trust me. A lot more. Like something like this here, let's say Glenn paid $100 for this. It would be $250 on eBay plus shipping. Easy. I'm not kidding. People use eBay for pricing. If I go to buy somebody, as soon as somebody starts talking about eBay, you know what, bud? I'm not interested. Just because I know we're not going to be on the same page. You know how I price stuff? I see stuff on Marketplace and I watch what moves for what prices. If something's listed for 6 months, it's not the right price. It's not selling, right? If the guy's got it listed and there's no takers, my price guide is the cheapest I can find it on Marketplace and Kijiji. That's what I go for. That's what I go by, rather. The real market prices. You got to remember, guys, eBay, some people need to rely on eBay, okay? They live 8 hours from a Walmart. They don't have any stores nearby. They live in Antarctica. For whatever reason, some people have to rely on eBay. And unfortunately, they have to pay those prices. So you see, and there's people that don't know better. Like I've had friends that have bought stuff off eBay that I've been like, dude, I could have got that for you. It's right here on Marketplace. So sometimes people just don't know better. But those sold listings are not the friggin' Bible of pricing. Like if I list something, a $10 item for $500 and some guy pays it, that doesn't mean that it's worth $500 because it's some nutcase paid it. You know what I mean? People put too much weight in it, guys. Save money, Marketplace and Kijiji, check, 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 check. One last look at the vintage OG. That's my favorite. Again, 98 reissue. One last time, vintage has blue General Lee on top. 98 reissue has black. So if these guys are loose, that's how you tell which one's the vintage. Because it's very hard to tell if it's out of the box because they look very, very similar. So moving along, we have Racing Champions version. This was a model kit. This was a gift from my friend G. So not only is it special because it came from my friend G, he didn't realize when he gifted me this that my mother had got me one of these. And it was a model kit. And it was in about 1997, 98. I remember she gave it to me. She got it at Zeller's. I remember that, Zeller's in Sault Ste. Marie. And I remember I put it together, had it for years and years. And then I think I gave it away. I gave it to my friend Will. I believe Willard. Oh, this one needs a good cleaning, actually. I got to clean the window off and stuff. A little bit dusty. Now, these were more like the toy grade ones of the yesteryear, and I don't mind it because it reminds me of the old school. If you're getting this, you're not getting it to be exactly like on TV. You're getting it just because it's something cool to display. It looks cool sitting there. And honestly, this one came with fat tires on the front, skinny ones on the back. I love the look of that. It's got like old school Craigers. I must be boring Glenn. He's snoring. Don't mind me. Dozing. I know, buddy. It's okay. Almost done. Anyway, guys, on to the next one. Then we'll let Glenn snore away here. Forgot to mention, the Racing Champions ones came out, 97, 98, late 90s. I didn't even have to move to get them. They're sitting right beside me. I'm going to put this little chrome guy away for a second here because we're going to talk about him in a minute. Now, these are moving up the ladder from the older little ones and the 98 reissue. These are 118s. Now, this one here is a little bit different. It looks identical to this guy, okay? I'm going to show you guys up close. Now, they made different versions of this. This is not die-cast, it's plastic. It looks very similar to this. Like, you can tell, obviously, one has something to do with the other, right? Like, they're almost identical. Except the top one has black windows all around, and it's got some buttons on the back, and it's plastic. What do the buttons do? Well, they made different versions of this. This was made by Malibu International. Malibu International, I think they might have did it with Joyride, I'm not sure, but Malibu International, car looks nearly identical, only it is plastic. In fact, and they made the radio control version of this as well, and they made one this size, radio control, and they made a 1/10 scale, guys. A big bugger. Now these fetch good money. If they're in the box, if you have it in the box, you gotta open it and get the batteries out of it. I know you're saying I don't want to open it, it's sealed. But we saved blends here from a lot of damage because it had batteries left in it. So we saved it. We got it out just before they leaked. And look at this, we got it back to life again. One last toot for you. But yeah, it looks just like the diecast, but it's just a little display piece. And like I said, this is the non-RC car. They also made the 2 different RC versions that I know of. I'll read you this while I hold it as still as I can. The Dukes of Hazzard Classic Television Series celebrates the good old USA, so get ready for action, Hazzard County style. The Duke boys and their beautiful cousin Daisy are battling the law and fighting for the good guys. Despite a knack for getting into trouble, the Dukes of Hazzard always have a way of getting out eventually. Along the way, fans enjoy racing cars, flying cars, tumbling cars, and plenty of good old-fashioned country fun, mostly in cars. And that, I was thinking about who this was in conjunction with. That reminds me of Johnny Lightning, because I think they write that same script on the back of the box, but I could be wrong. Don't forget, we're saving the best for last here, guys. Like, we're moving up to the best here, okay? Still got the best to come. Still got all the different chases to show you. Now this is one of the more common ones. I would say out of 10 people that have diecast General Lee cars, probably 6 of them have, it's one of these guys. This is old school American muscle. In other words, one of my favorites, Ertl collectibles. I love Ertl, okay? Love Ertl. Now, what they did get right was the tan interior. If you see a General Lee with a black interior or anything but tan, right away, that's wrong. But some of these General Lees aren't meant to be displayed. They're meant to be played with and stuff, hence the older ones having the black interior, the old Ertl and that. But this is 1/18 scale again. I'm going to see, okay, so this does say something on the back different. Recreate the action and excitement of Dukes of Hazzard series with this authentic diecast replica of the famous General Lee. The General Lee will, without question, the most famous car on television. The good old boys, cousins Bo and Luke Duke, race around Hazzard County avoiding, what's that say, cops? Chaos? Close brushes with the law in their indestructible 1969 Dodge Charger. This bright orange Southern Dirt Road Express, the Confederate flag on the roof, racing numbers on the doors, and signature Dixie horn. Steals to show and is always the hero in the end. I agree. When I was a kid, I was watching to see this car. By the way, when I was a kid, I hated Coy and Vance. They were the fake Dukes as far as I'm concerned. Freaking Coy and Vance. So this is kind of like the middle of the tier one. They also made one that's a little bit more rare, same size as this, same looking box, but it comes with the 1/64 scale, and it's in the corner in a little bubble. So that's a rarer version. If I was going to get one of these Ertl ones, these older Ertl ones, I would get the one with the 1/64 scale Charger in the corner. That's the exact casting of the 1981 release I had as a kid. And I had that mint on card, but when I sold off my collection, I sold it to Mr. Glenn here. Mine was mint. My General Lee, my Ertl 164 scale, has the original Zeller's price tag on it even. The good thing is, though, I can still enjoy all that stuff because it's not far from me, right? It's in the house here, so... but yeah, I like the box on it. I like the way it looks. I mean, it's not horrible. If you're looking, well, I'll explain to you the different tiers at the end of the video. I don't want to get into that yet. I'll explain to you different collectors want different stuff, and I'm going to explain to you what collectors want what General Lee. So, before we go to, in my opinion, what the best replica is, I'll get into some of the chases. So, chase cars. I did a couple videos. What is a chase car? Chase cars, or it's chases come in wrestling figures now. They come in Funko Pops. They come in everything. What it is they take a version of, say, this car, Racing Champion, or I'm not sure if Racing Champions did a chase, so I'm not going to speak on it. But let's say this is the Joyride version. So they take this, 1 of 25 scale, and they make the exact car, but they make it in chrome, or they make it in black, or they make it stand out somehow different, and they only make 2% of the cars made in chrome, say. So if there's 1,000 made, there's only going to be 200? No, wait, that's 20%. Whatever. You know, I'm tired, whatever the hell. You know what I'm saying. That's burnout math I was doing. But it's low numbers anyway. So this is a chase car. You don't see a lot of these. This is not 1/18 scale, to be honest. It makes it a little bit rarer in my opinion, because you do not see them, a lot of them, in this scale anymore in the box. Now, they made different variants of the chases. I wouldn't be chasing all the variants because these friggin' guys are expensive here. But they made the more brushed look of the chrome, and then they made the shiny chrome here. They made black General Lees. They even made a one that was kind of like a chase that had jump damage. I thought it was a custom, but it wasn't. They made a dirty General back then. Like, this was before Greenlight was coming out with all this stuff, and all the other manufacturers, like Ertl was doing it. They were making the dirty versions, all that. Now, obviously, this is not screen accurate. You're not buying it to be screen accurate because it's in friggin' chrome. Can you imagine the Dukes of Hazzard driving this around Hazzard County? They'd probably cook in the sun. They'd probably cook. But this is older, not quite vintage yet, but it's older. 2005, Ertl, Dyersville, Iowa, Joyride. Joyride again is Ertl. And that's like a paragraph on the back, so I'm not going to read you the paragraph, but I'm going to show you the box all around. It's got the Dukes from the Dukes movie. Now, I didn't mind the Dukes movie with Johnny Knoxville. Willie Nelson, I thought, played a good Uncle Jesse, but they should have made him look fat. But I thought he looked similar to him. You know what, guys? I'm going to point something out. See, here's some of the different versions of this car, okay? It's 64 scale 3-pack, which I had. 1/18 scale, the rip cords one, you pull the cord and it goes. The stylized, it's called stylized 8-inch General Lee. But these ones here, and that's like that, I'm not a big fan of that style. I'm not sure why. I've seen them cheap online when anything else General Lee is expensive. So these are no longer sold in stores anymore, by the way, guys. Any General Lee, because of the flag on the roof, and if they do sell it, it won't have the flag. So that's what makes all this stuff going through the roof in value right now. Anything Dukes of Hazzard right now is like you're holding a piece of gold. It's all got value to it. There's nothing Dukes of Hazzard that doesn't have value. Love the look of the box. They got the windows on both sides, both ends of it. But again, that is the 1 of 25 scale. He actually has two of these. The poor guy thought he was ordering a 118 and a 125. And he got two like this. And we've talked about it. And he said maybe one day he'll make me a deal on one. But we'll see if I even want one. I don't know. But they are cool. They're darn cool. Tell you this, if I got one of these, I would not be cracking it. I'll tell you that much. Okay, so let's take a walk and look at some other chrome chases over here. So here we have another one, guys, that's out of the cabinet. It's in the cabinet for a very good reason. Now, if you got this car, you're not getting it because it's exactly detailed like the movie. I mean, it looks great to most collectors, most people. They'd say, wow, that's General Lee. You're buying it for this. No, I'm not going to open that, but signed by George Barris. Now, anytime you get an autograph, I cannot preach this enough. COA, COA, COA. And not just any COA, a reputable one, because anybody can do a COA. I can take a Bible, sign it Jesus Christ, put a COA with it. Neil Donovan certifies that it's real. You get my point. So it's important to always get COA. And if you're getting it signed in person, get pictures of the guy signing it. Why not? You're standing right there, right? It adds provenance to what you're doing. Provenance to what you got. Tired, guys. I'm sorry. Another one not bought for exact movie accuracy, but I would own that. It's signed by the entire cast, guys. Not only is it signed, but it's got the best authentication going. It's done by a reputable company. Everybody knows Celebrity Authentics. You got these little business cards that show them signing your car. Like, this is the car that is in that picture. This is a chase, like what I explained earlier. I don't know how rare it is. I love the look of this one, guys. Again, it doesn't look like the Dukes of Hazzard car in the show or movie because it's a chase. But I love the white with the white interior. The flag just pops on the white. Wow. One of my personal favorites right here. Hard to believe, about 10 years ago, there's a viewer that watches my videos, Willard. I used to bug him relentlessly about collecting Diecast and Hot Wheels and stuff. Bug him terrible. Well, he was going to sell me a chrome General Lee one day. It was in the box for 50 bucks. I didn't know what it was. I hemmed and hawed about it. This was probably 10 years ago. 8 years ago, maybe. I said, nah, it doesn't look like General Lee. I'll pass. I was going to get it just because it looked cool and everything. Man, do I kick myself now. Again, they got the tan interior right, though. Just shouldn't have headrests. Love the way the flag pops on the chrome, though. As you could see, they did others as well. And not only movie cars, but you can get Ertl did chrome chases and a ton of cars. So if you're buying those because of the rarity. And because, hey, they look awesome. They look cool. I love even that white one. The flag pops on the white paint. And something about the white interior, I just love the look of it. I don't know, it's got a different look to it. I love it. I would display it if I had it, for sure. But that is more connoisseur stuff. Guys that like chases, low number stuff. I used to be obsessed with chases just before I started doing YouTube videos. I quit collecting chases. I had 50 M2 machines chases of all different sizes. 50. I had from 1/64 scale all the way up to 1/24 scale. I had raw chases in 1/24 scale. My favorite one I had was a super chase. It was a 1/250. It was a 1/24 scale black 1970 Challenger. I called it my Black Ghost chase. It didn't have the white stripe on the back, but she was gorgeous. Just black on black on black, and 250 made. But yeah, I was hooked on chases, but once I hit number 50, I said, how far am I going to take this? 100? Now I've saved the best for last here, if you could see over my shoulder. I'm going to get into it with you, and the reason I saved price points until now is because I'm going to tell you what I would pay at the most for what I consider the best, which is right here. Okay, these two. Or the one anyway. And then if you're going to pay that for the best, I'll tell you what the price points is on the other ones. Okay, if you're going for high end and detailed, guys, this is top of the top of the top. This is a Auto World Silver Screen Machines General Lee. Now, the first time I laid my eyes on one of these, me and my buddy Justin were at a toy show. I think it was Collecticon. And this was before I was collecting diecast cars. And there was a vendor that had one of these. I can't remember the price on it. I think back then it was like $400 or $450, something like that. It was at a toy show. And I remember noticing, wow, I pointed out to Justin, look at the rims. They got the rims right, because you guys know yourself, every other version of this, like the ones I just showed you, the Ertls, they look okay. But the rims, you know, obviously don't look like that. And that's when I noticed the roof. I said, well, wait a minute. Why would they do a good job like that? It doesn't have the flag on it. And me and Justin are looking at it like, where's the flag? We asked the dude, where's the flag? That's when dude explained to us. He said, if you look closely, there's a decal over the top of the flag. If you look through some of my old videos, not old, but probably a few months old, you'll find the video where I got him this Silver Screen General Lee, and where we gently removed the decal. That way it didn't cause any, because you never know, something like that can cause damage over time, whatever. We're seeing straps causing damage and reactions to paint, stuff like that. So didn't want to take a risk. So we opened it up, took the decal off. Not to mention, that looks a lot better in the box displayed like that than with an orange decal on it. Come on. But this is, so if you're going for movie accuracy, guys, and if you want to just start at the top and never have to buy a General Lee again, like I know myself collecting things, I'll buy something and I'll be like, damn, I should have bought the better one, and then I end up selling that and getting the better one. If you want to start at the top, start right here. Remember to look for this symbol here, Silver Screen Machines. It's done by Auto World. See the rims? The rims are a dead giveaway. I got my loose Silver Screen Machines General Lee, mint condition, but it was loose. I got it for $100 because I noticed the rims. It didn't say anywhere in the ad, Auto World, Silver Screen Machines, nothing. It just said movie cars for sale. General Lee. He had a General Lee, he had a Hot Wheels Elite Ecto 1, and the other one was a Sunstar DeLorean, Back to the Future, got a smoking deal. But because I spied those rims, I knew what I was looking for. He had another version of the General Lee, guys. I'm going to show you it because it is technically the General Lee. If you notice the name of it, Happy Birthday General Lee. This was the way the General Lee looked before it was orange. This was owned by Gold Dust thieves. I believe it was Gold Dust thieves. Yeah, Gold Dust thieves. Robbers. And they did a robbery, I guess, got caught in hazard. They stashed the gold dust in the dashboard. Somehow they went to jail. I can't remember the exact episode, but the Duke boys ended up buying their car from the auction, something like that. And they painted it orange, turned it into the General Lee. But this is it before it was the car that we knew of it today. Right here. Again, you see that symbol? Screen accurate. Now these cars here, like I said, this even has factory overspray. Okay. I'm actually going to show you mine because it's out of the box. I actually brought out my loose one to show you guys that. Oh! Trying to get me in trouble, he is. So as you can see, guys, it's a cut above the rest. The original casting, I'm showing you guys a CB antenna because the other Diecast 118s don't come with one. Now, funny thing is, this casting, they got the tooling from Ertl. It's an Ertl Authentics Charger casting, which is the best of the best casting they had. Super heavy. This thing has suspension even, guys. Now, the hood. If you notice, I'm going to open the hood. Silver screen machines, they make it as close to the screen accurate as possible. Look at the hood hinges, guys. It's like a real charger. I'm going to show you guys it's got fender tags. Like these are not your average diecast cars. These are for the connoisseur. These are definitely not toy grade, not meant to be played with. But look at the detail, okay? The headlights roll down. Of course, the doors do not open because they are welded shut, just like the General Lee it should be. I seen a collector on a YouTube video open the doors. I almost cried. I said, poor guy, because he didn't know. And he pried them. Oh, I felt bad for him. But you notice it's got a CB antenna, which is a cut above the rest of them, like I said. License plate. Like, we're talking even details in the trunk here, guys. Look at that. Look at that trunk. Like, detailed out the wazoo, this thing. So if you're like me and Dukes of Hazzard was your favorite show, and you've got to have absolutely the best of the best of the best of the best, that's what you're looking for right there. Not the Franklin Mint one, or the Danbury Mint. I think it was the Danbury Mint. I don't like the look of that one, even how it sits, but this one, no headrests even, like they got everything good on this. So if you're a connoisseur and you need the perfect one, Auto World Silver Screen Machines. Now you're probably asking yourself, where's the good part? Retro said he was going to price some of this stuff out for us. What would he pay for this stuff if eBay has such crazy prices? Well, I'll tell you what we paid for some of this stuff. So look up these cars on eBay and you tell me what you can get one in Canadian funds, because I'm in Canada, shipped to the door here. Okay? I got mine loose for $100. So see if you could find one for under that on eBay. Glenn, I got his mint sealed in the box. Never opened, box, never opened, box completely mint. Like the guy had, it lived in a display case. I got that the same day as I got my Knight Rider, my Joyride Knight Rider 118. $250 for that, okay? Now, am I saying that that's all you should expect to pay for that? No, because that was an extraordinary deal. That's actually probably the cheap. Well, no, I seen one for $100 actually in the box a couple months ago, but that doesn't happen often. But average price, okay, let's say you're me, I'm you, and I'm looking for I want the best of the best of the best. I want an Auto World Silver Screen Machines General Lee. I'm obsessed with the General Lee. I know if I buy a cheaper one or whatever, I'm not going to be happy in a month. The itch is not going to be scratched. I want the best. I'm not paying a penny over $300 for an Auto World Silver Screen Machines General Lee. Not a penny. And you got to think, I know this because I bought and sold a couple of them now. Well, not sold. I hooked up friends with them. Selling, I guess you would, well, I guess I sold them in a way, but I didn't make any profit. I just hooked up friends with them, but whatever. Silver Screen Machines Auto World General Lee, do not pay a cent over $300 because it's totally doable to get it for that price. Where do you get them? Because they're no longer in stores. Marketplace and Kijiji. Check over and over and over and over. Check every day. Check the reminder things, the alerts that let you know when there's new listings. New listings for anything General Lee, Dukes of Hazzard. Because you got to think like the seller does, guys. There's misspellings in some of this stuff. Like, for example, the wrestling figures I used to collect from the 1980s, the WWF LJN wrestling figures. Non-collectors didn't call them LJN wrestling figures. They called them rubber wrestlers from the 80s. So I would type that into Kijiji. Old wrestling figures, rubber wrestlers, vintage wrestling figures. You got to think like the seller, like that. Type in keywords, stuff like that. The other day I found a Godfather car for $80. 1/18 scale, mint, sealed in the box. My friend said, how do you find that stuff? Dude, I typed Godfather in to Marketplace. It came up. Then, because that was a good deal, I checked the seller's other ads. Always do that. And I found Scarface, $100. G is happy. He's got a big one off the list, and it's not a cheap one usually. So we're thrilled to get that. We're going to get one for Dave next. He's on the list. Now that I know that he wants one too, we're going to knock one off for him. But don't pay over $300. That is local, where I live anyway, Canada, Ontario, Canada, Greater Toronto area, $300. No more. I'm also going to mention, if you're looking for a Silver Screen Machines General Lee, be very careful. The Johnny Lightning boxes, I believe it's Johnny Lightning, the General Lee 1 of 18 box, looks very, 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 very similar to a Auto World Silver Screen Machines box. Make sure it's got the Silver Screen Machines symbol on the box, and make sure it's got those beautiful rims to make sure you got the right car. Let's say you're not into all that. I like the General Lee, but I don't want to spend those $300 on no diecast car. Retro collectibles. What are you, on crack? You sniff model glue? I'm not paying that. Well, you can go down for something like this. And like I said, guys, that's not to say you can't find one for less than $300. I'm just saying set that as your goal, because on average they cost more than that. But if you find it for less, all the power to you. Like I said, I got Glenn's for $250. But if you can make do with one of these guys, and I still like them, I think they're beauties. They look great on the shelf. I even like the look of the box because it looks kind of vintage, right? The way they did it. This right here, I'm not paying more than, I'd say $200 for it, $225. Like, it blows my mind because I'll see people like sold listings on Marketplace for $350 for these. And it blows me away because I'm like, dude, you could have got the best of the best for $300. I cannot stress enough, guys, shop around with this sort of stuff. Shop around. But yeah, I would be looking to pay $2 or less for one of these ones here. If it's got the little 1 of 64 scale version up in the corner, like I mentioned, that one's a rare version. That I would pay up to $3 for because it's cool and it's got the smaller scale car and you don't see them around as often. But somebody says, I have this car here and I want $400 for it. You tell them, hoop your forehead. Let's just say you don't want those big honking 118s. They're too big. You just want something that goes on the shelf, or you love vintage stuff. You want that old school throwback release from 98, or you want the OG vintage one. How much should you pay for this stuff here? It is vintage old after all, right? What should you be paying for it? Like I said, that Ertl, the 98 reissue, in this condition here, which is damn near mint, like there's nothing wrong with the plastic or anything. Well, I'll show you guys. Still sealed, everything like that. I'm looking to pay $100 for one of these. Not a penny more. Not a friggin' penny more. Not a half a penny more. $100. And that's because I know what they go for and I see them all the time on Marketplace and Kijiji. $100. Now this guy here is tough because my heart's kind of attached to it because it's vintage. I'd say this shape here with the numbers on the side, if it had the numbers, I would do $150. I have no idea without the numbers though. I have no idea, guys, what that's worth. Without checking anything on it, this one here, without the numbers being an error and all that, I might pay closer to $2 for it because it's vintage. The box is okay. It just got this little thing here that can be easily mended. But I've seen a lot worse than this. And it's the error, right? But that is the old OG original. So, there you go. Chrome chases, I don't want to start throwing prices out for those because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't know enough about them. Something like that, if I were to buy one, I would just start shopping around, get an average of them over a month or so. I definitely ain't pulling the trigger the same day if I'm looking for one of those things. I'm shopping around big time because they're expensive. And that is the overall message, guys. This stuff here is no longer in stores. It can vary for hundreds of dollars. Like, I mean, me and Glenn, for example, I got my Ertl Ghostbusters, 1 of 21 scale with the little Slimer. I got that $50, mint in the box, okay? It was in BC, I had to get it shipped here, but $50 mint in the box. I got Glenn one locally for $100 mint in the box, okay? But I've seen those sell for $200. I've seen sold listings on Marketplace. So you really got to look around. I myself have bought things, paid too much for them, and then been like, Neil, you know better. Why'd you do that? You see these all the time online for cheaper, right? But then sometimes you want to help somebody out or something, so you kind of put out a little bit extra. But shop around, guys. That's it. That's the big thing. Give you an example. What's a good example? Oh, the Jada Godfather 1 of 18 car. Got it for $80. Okay, mint. There's one on Marketplace right now for $260. $260. Okay. Yeah, I can go on and on. These silver screen General Lees, I see them listed for $400 or $500 sometimes. Right now, there's a Knight Rider car. Same exact one. I paid $250 for. Mine was mint in the sealed box. It's $400 marked down from $550, or there's one particular guy on there that his prices are, woo, He's got nice stuff, but just shop around, guys, because you don't want to make some mistakes that I did and pay too much for stuff and then see the item a couple weeks later. Like, even my Dirty Mary Crazy Larry car. I got a good deal on that from what I thought, and I still think I got a good deal. But then I fluked out and got Glenn one for $150. Okay, like almost $100 less for Glenn. But then I get one for me for $100 more. I don't love myself. But that's just an example, guys. Shop around. Do not pull the trigger right away. Shop around. Shopping around, bargain hunting is important in collecting because collecting's not cheap. You guys know that yourself. Over time, you could have twice the amount of stuff. Like all the stuff that I just sold, I did well on it because, put it this way, when you buy something as an investment over time, you got to think of the exit door, is what I always tell my friends. If I'm paying this much, can I get my money back if I have an emergency? Can I get my money back? That's what you should be paying. Anyway, guys, I hope you found it informational. Shop around. Sorry it took me so long to do this video. We had to dig out some General Lees from the Cowie Diecast collection and two from my personal collection to show you guys. Mm-hmm. And Glenn's there. He's half asleep. Don't worry, buddy. I'm almost done here. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, we're going to the ODA show together. I would not take you guys. Come on. You think I'm not going to take you guys? I'm going to treat you to a meatball sub, too. If you don't know what I'm talking about, they got the best ones in town, meatball subs at the Ontario Diecast Addict show. Mm-hmm. Anyway, guys, please like, subscribe, and share. It gives me an idea that what I'm doing is good, and it keeps me motivated to keep making videos for you guys and keep buying expensive stuff to open up and kill the value of it. Okay? So please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, happy hunting.